YouTube, what the crap's going on? Just a couple quick announcements. I'm going to make it quick. I promise we're going to jump into a battle. One, I'm giving away a gaming computer. There will be a link in the description and in the comments. Go click it if you want to enter to win. All the details are there. The other thing I wanted to show you real quick is, remember when I had you go vote? So I'm going to have another link in the description that's going to be the Dragon Squad landing page. If you go there and you scroll down past all this stuff, there's like this bit of Dragon Squad stuff there, and then there was an old contest that's over. But if you keep going down to the bottom, there's still voting going on your favorite best secret of Ryzen, which is just a social media thing. You all have helped me stay in the lead for a long time at 3,136 votes, but Lionheart's been working really hard every day to try and beat me. I need all of you to stop what you're doing right now, pause the video, click on this link that takes you to the Dragon Squad page, click on this tweet right here that's got my YouTube logo banner and stuff back there. Click on it and click this heart right there. It lets you vote, okay? You can vote on multiple devices, and you can have family members vote. Just go vote. If you win this vote for me, I get to give you a second gaming computer. So please help me give you a gaming computer. It's not me winning anything. It's you winning something, and it's an awesome gaming computer. Don't let Lionheart win this. You guys are going to disappoint me if you let him win. So thousands of you, go, go, go. All right, now back to the fun. We're going to get into the game. Sorry, yeah, let's get the game back up here. So we're going to jump back into Warhammer and kick things off. So yes, please, please, please go vote. It literally only takes like 5 seconds, and it helps someone on my channel win an awesome computer. So please. And if you want to enter to win the gaming computer, feel free. So this is going to be a battle of greenskins versus dwarves. Should be a lot of fun. So the dwarf player, and I don't remember the name of this map, but it's got this like pool of death here in the center or whatever, and it's got the trees on both sides where you can do some sneaky action. So in the greenskins versus dwarves, let's check out the dwarf army real quick. It's a Thorgrim Grudgebearer with runesmiths. So this can be pretty powerful if used properly, and you can see he's got a lot of anti-armor, probably expecting black orcs. He's got a front line of longbeards with great weapons. He's got the Grumbling Guard. He's got Thorgrim and the runesmiths. He's got a Dragonfire Pass. Warrior's a Dragonfire Pass. Another regular warrior in the back, and a Thunderer, Goblobber, and a Slayer. So he's got plenty of ways to deal with greenskin heavy infantry. If he uses his runesmiths right, he could do a lot of damage to me with the runes of Wrath and Ruin. But it also looks like he's spent probably a little too much money on those guys. Right now I'm just using my spider, and I've got 2 Gobbo big bosses and just a Knight Gobbo war boss here. It's just a cheap greenskin leadership group. I've got 2 black orcs and 4 biggins moving through the woods, and then my sneaky Stabbin part of the army is back here. I've got 3 nasty Skulkas, which are nice armor-piercing infantry that are quick, and they can stalk around the battlefield unseen. So can the Gobbo Shaman and these Rusty Arrows. And I want the Rusty Arrows in behind his lines so that I can take armor off of his infantry without hitting my own infantry. So that was the purpose of this deployment, and typically the dwarves don't really have anything fast-moving. My opponent really wants to shoot my leadership, so I'm just kind of keep tempting him. He hasn't seen my infantry yet, so at this point I figure it's time for the boys to exit the woods. We've done enough skulking, and it's time to go rip some beards off at this point, so that's what we're going to go do. That cave squig looks freaking awesome. The Night Gobbo boss on there, or the goblin. Hang on. Night Goblin War Boss. I keep saying it wrong. Yeah. Oh, hey, by the way, did you all see the trailer for Lizardmen? If not, go watch it. I'll make another video here in a minute, and we'll cover that. But yeah. Anyway, there you go. It's gonna be a fun battle. So Ragnarok Queen, because she can drop the spiderlings. I didn't bring any cavalry because I was hoping to rely on the spiderlings to tie stuff down. And then I went heavier on infantry, so 6 heavy infantry, and then I've got 3 light infantry back here for support, and then the 1 missile unit. So you can see I'm lined up right behind the dwarves in terms of the overall layout here. I'm going to go ahead and push up to the flank. I'm going to risk a little bit of fire from his thunderers, but I wanted to drop a spiderling here, and I'm going to try and move it in to do some disruption. I actually do remember to micro it a second later. Yeah, so just give me a minute. Sometimes the air's a bit slow on the micro. That Goblobber's doing some nasty damage, so I can't close the distance fast enough. Here, I'm going to go ahead and sneak the spiders through here and shut down the thunderers momentarily so I can turn my leadership back around. He's going to kill my spiders very quickly, but this also draws his men forward, and so the strategy works. I'm able to move my my Gobbos a whole lot closer now without being seen. and it gets the disruption I need for just long enough. You can see the spiders don't rout, which is great. It forces his thunderers back and allows me to come in an all-out assault on Thorgrim. And I come forward, Black Orcs raging, everything. I do forget to use Wah right off the bat, which was a huge mistake. I did get Itchy Nuisance, but using Wah while the Itchy Nuisance was going on is ideal, because then it's a debuff and a buff for you, so it's a double win. Now my Skulkers get back in here, and they're going to slow down all his guys, and they're going to start hacking through units pretty well because they have armor piercing. And then I've got my Biggins on the flank, and here comes the Biggins to provide the outflanking. My leadership gets a little bit distracted in the process of trying to kill Thorgrim. And my micro is elsewhere right now, if I have micro, but I am doing pretty good with the Rusty Arrows. You can see them targeting right into the back of this Grumbling Guard. So they're going to be tearing away at its stats. You can see all the units that get hit up here are going to lose, they should lose armor when they get hit by the Rusty Arrows. So actually my Rusty Arrows, they should be firing somewhere up in here. There it is, yeah, so their unit finally got hit. Maybe I targeted a different unit, but anyway, they're firing up in there. You can see that the Thorgrim and the Runesmiths are both pretty healthy, but my War Boss got routed early on. But by the time my Biggins got here, I'm able to tie back his entire back line, and I can continue to use my Gabo Shaman in safety. So now I'm getting hit by some Rune of Wrath and Ruin, but I do have Wah finally, and Itchy Nuisance going at the same time, so this is going to help me turn around things a little bit. And you can see the Skulkers here did really well. Got a lot of kills on those Dwarf Warriors. And some of my Skulkers are going to come back from routing after having initially been defeated by some of the superior Dawa units there, but they'll come back for more. That's one of the things you got to be careful of with greenskin armies, is they can just keep coming back for more. You can see the Rusty Arrows just kind of constantly firing in and helping to tear away at the Dwarf armor, which is useful for me. His Runesmiths and Thorgrim are doing a lot of work. His Warriors of Dragonfire Pass looking particularly cool. But I'm finally able to kind of gang up on some of his leadership here. I'm kind of regrouped. I lost one of my big bosses, but my War Boss and my Spider can now focus down Thorgrim, and without his Thunderers to actually continue to hurt the Spider's going to be safe. It's already racked up 65 kills, which is not bad at all. You see the Rusty Arrows have racked up 32 kills as well, and I now have them firing at the Warriors of Dragonfire Pass. So most of the infantry for the Dwarves has been wrecked up front, and when Thorgrim goes down there, it's going to be a big hit to the Dwarf leadership. You can see both my Black Orcs kind of came in from one side, which managed to keep them safe from the worst of the Dawi main line. So I was able to defeat my opponent in this particular battle. Worked out decently for me there in terms of strategy. Let's see here. Thinking about, yeah, let me load one more replay, and I'll give you one more that I played. And this one, I just kind of wanted to talk about. So it's actually I mean, I'll go ahead and tell you up front, it's a loss. I'm gonna go back to, I want to go back to the custom battle screen and talk about this real quick before we go show it. And I'm not gonna like play through the whole battle because I've already told you it's a loss, but I wanted to kind of talk about sometimes army selection and how you make the right selections. So I was playing a battle, and I picked the vampires to go up against the greenskins, and the vampires should be a fairly safe pick against the greenskins, but you can't get lazy. The greenskins are a good faction, and I just picked one of my pre-saved armies that I've built out of Ninja Hun's guide here, and I think I took this one, and I was like, all right, well, if the greenskins go infantry heavy, this is a decent build of that. I've got some Blood Knights in case I need it. You got Cryptors, which are pretty great, and then the infantry line is not great against, armor piercing, but with the Mortis engine and the Corpse Cart, it should be pretty sturdy. And I took this build against greenskins. So if you think about greenskins and some of the things that they can do, and some of the things that people have come kind of not to expect, like some people don't really expect greenskins to skirmish at all, right? Because greenskins are so good with their infantry and their leadership core, they get pretty rushy. And if you think about with the vampires, well, a lot of times vampires will bring, a single flyer, especially against the greenskins, because you'll feel pretty confident. And a lot of people never expect a flyer from the greenskins, and Wurzag can go up in the air. And if you look at his spells here and you bring the right ones, so like for instance, this setup, this makes, or you can go even cheaper and leave the Fate of Yuna at home, because you probably won't need it. So you could take Wurzag and do something kind of like this. You could even go through, you probably don't need that. I don't know how much it is. It's only 61, so you could leave it. I don't know. You could pick and choose the abilities here and make them a little bit cheaper if you want. So, or sorry, did I say Wurzag? I meant Azag. So you can have Azag, and he can be mounted on Skullmuncha. Now, in Skullmuncha, one thing that, again, you know, kind of gets deceiving here is that his speed is 100, which means he can catch up to a Vampire Hellsteed, especially when he hits a charge speed. Now, the downside for Azag is he has absolutely no healing. So if he doesn't have any healing, that makes him very vulnerable to enemy Spirit Leech, or getting outnumbered in the air, which is a real problem. Well, if you were going to be the Greenskins, and you did want to potentially challenge a vampire who got lazy with their air force, but you still wanted to help keep Wurzag safe, well, what could you do? Well, I mean, you always got the Rusty Arrows, and you can always throw in a couple of cheap Gobbo Archers. That would help out a lot. But then, another option that a lot of people don't use very often is stuff like Spider Riders. Like Spider Rider Archers. I mean, you could bring, or Wolf Rider Archers, but let's say Spider Rider Archers in this case, because they have poison arrows. But if you were to bring something like this, where the Death Creepers, poison attack, I mean, you could do all kinds of stuff if you wanted to bring these guys. They regenerate too, so I mean, it's up to you. But like I said, if you bring something like this, all of a sudden Azag kind of has like somewhat of a zone of safety. The vampires would have a hard time dropping a Raise the Dead on all these units, and it kind of depends on the vampire army that gets brought. So one good way to be able to go up against something like this would just be to think about, you know, the weakskins, or the weaknesses of the greenskins. Mortis Engine is pretty predictable, and that's part of the reason why they bring so many archers. And, you know, so the army I brought here is pretty predictable, and if you throw in another weakness of the vampires, check it out. So if I were to throw in a giant, now vampires are going to struggle to kill the giant, especially when the units that are trying to kill it are getting peppered by all these guys, and then the vampire lord is going to have to try and shut all this down. So if you think about it, this is a pretty clever pick to go against the vampires, because it's going to at least force the vampire player to have some pretty good micro. And if it's someone like me who's just picking a decent vampire army and hoping for the fact that the vampires can kind of tank a lot out, it actually puts you in a pretty favorable position. So let's take a look at this replay real quick. Show you what Rigson did against me here. So there's his army. He picked the Mangy Marauders, 3 Spider Riders, 1 Savage Error Boy, and it looks like 1 Orc Error Boy, and the Rusty Errors, and then just some big uns and a couple of Black Orcs. So very interesting army in the sense that, again, a lot of times people expect like multiple greenskin leaders. So I don't like my army pick from the beginning, and when I'm really thrown off all of a sudden, when I'm like, wow, all these skirmish cavalry up front, it's a problem, because the Mortis Engine doesn't have any armor per se, neither does a Corpse Cart, and Manfred isn't going to want to get shot by all this stuff. And then I see Azag, and I'm like, well, crap, how am I going to handle this? So I start kind of making a few moves real quick, and I'm like, well, I still want to go ahead and get engaged with his infantry. I hadn't even noticed the giant at this point. I wasn't even paying attention because I'd seen Azag. I'm going to get in a Spirit Leech brawl with him real quick. So we both Spirit Leech each other. Azag has more hit points than Manfred to begin with, which is not great for me. He's also armor piercing, whereas Manfred is not. So Azag would definitely have a bit of a lead if it were to get into that kind of fight. So he's bringing his Mangy Marauders around, and this is going to be pretty threatening for Manfred as well. Manfred can heal when he's around these, so again, I'm hoping that that will buy me some benefit here. But you can see that immediately Manfred's going to come under fire from multiple directions. He's just going to harass the crap out of me. Some Dire Wolves here would have been an undoing to this pick, and then in terms on the ground, some Banshees probably would have been helpful. Azag goes ahead and charges me because he hits me with the second Spirit Leech. I got him with the Spirit Leech as well, but again, you can see my hit points are much lower, and this is not really a fight I want. I realize I'm about to lose this fight very early on in the battle, and it's going to be very bad for me. So immediately I'm going to go ahead and quickly withdraw while I feel like I have a chance, and I'm going to charge Manfred down onto the ground where I can protect him with these 3 Cryptors and the Blood Knights. And temporarily, this is a pretty good idea for me. So I get Manfred down here, we're going to keep him safe. The problem is now he's just at liberty to keep shooting away at me with all these archers, which means he's going to kill my Cryptors. So I kind of need to take out his archers, but this flank over here is already falling apart. So right now, I should have already had the these guys around here, and then I should have had these zombies over here pressuring it too. And while on the ground, I probably could have... I'm running really low on magic because I started the battle very low on magic. So I did get Manfred healed, and I'm like, all right, now I'm going to go kill Azag. So I put a Spirit Leech on him, and I get a little bit overconfident here because I'm like, you know what, I can take him. But I forget, you know, again, having all these guys on the ground, I got the Spirit Leech. It was a good one, but then he Spirit Leeches me in return, and it's going to end up being a lot closer battle than I'd like. But again, I was thinking I can just kill him real quick and then fly off and heal. And then I should be able to win because I could, you know, potentially drop some zombies and stuff in. And I do manage to rout Azag, but Manfred is so jacked up by this point, and I just barely got enough magic to put a heal. But Manfred's hit points are terribly, terribly low here, and I'm trying to jink and dodge everywhere, but it's just not working. And right there, these Spider Riders just got a great shot on me, and that was it. So yeah, at this point I've lost the battle. So battle over. Even though I got my Blood Knights and stuff, I got so distracted that I didn't really take the right way to dismantle this army. I should have taken my time and dismantled the army properly. My army was not a good pick for this. I actually think my opponent picked a better army here in the sense that for me to deal with the giant would require my Blood Knights. If the Blood Knights aren't killing the archers, then he's killing my Crypt Horrors or Manfred. So basically I think that the way I picked this army was pretty poor. And it kind of makes you think there, too, where I went into this battle thinking, well, vampires are a good matchup against the greenskins, and I just got kind of lazy with my picks and didn't think about some of the stuff the greenskins could do. And I really liked my opponent's clever army pick there, and I wanted to show it to you all because it gives you an idea on how to throw people off sometimes. So in this case, I wasn't trying to highlight any strategy I did because mine was quite poor and lazy, whereas my opponent did a really good job here, I thought, in choosing a pretty creative greenskin army in terms of trying to deal with the type of stuff that you would expect the vampires to throw at the greenskins. So anyway, I hope you all enjoyed that, and hopefully it was a bit of a lesson in terms of how not to be like me in that case. Now some of you may be like, duh, like I never do that kind of stuff. Well, then that lesson wasn't for you. It was for other people who may need it, like me. So I hope you all enjoyed it tonight. Appreciate MSI sponsoring my channel. Appreciate you, my awesome viewer, for being here all the time and watching these videos. Sorry my content's been a little shorter than usual recently, but I have just been very busy, and I'm kind of getting back into a groove of things here, I think. So keep an eye out for the content to get back to normal. And if you want to subscribe, click my logo in the bottom right-hand corner. It helps me out a lot, and it'll keep you up to date with the newest content. You're awesome. Hope to see you back soon in the battlefields of Warhammer. HeirofCarthage, signing out for now.